In a fight between two classic strikers, everybody expects the co-main event of the UFC White House card to be 100% stand-up battle. But considering the circumstances, a historic event that will probably become the most watched MMA event of all time, there's a very real chance that one of them tries to surprise the other. The truth is, I see this fight as extremely competitive, exactly like the betting odds suggest. The MMA community is pretty divided on this one, and for good reason. Both guys have clear advantages and key strengths that could end up deciding the fight. When you analyze their styles and compare their striking, I think the overwhelming majority would agree that Alex Pereira is the superior striker. He's a two-time Glory Kickboxing champion and a two-division UFC champion. The Brazilian's resume doesn't lie. Alex Pereira beat Israel Adesanya three times while Adesanya was still in his physical and technical prime, twice in kickboxing and once in MMA. Now, Ciryl Gane is an excellent striker, especially when you consider that he's a natural heavyweight. He moves with an incredible amount of fluidity inside the cage compared to the most fighters in the division. On the feet, he's beating names like Francis Ngannou, Junior Dos Santos, and Tom Aspinall, that infamous first round fight that ended up with eye poke. And John Jones never even gave the devil a chance. He didn't want to expose himself to the risk of getting touched on the feet, potentially getting knocked out, and losing that aura of invincibility. He wasted no time, shot for a takedown immediately, and submitted the Frenchman. That being said, the current state of USA heavyweight division creates a very interesting situation. Both the Brazilian and the Frenchman will probably be willing to do whatever it takes to secure the win in June 14th at White House. And maybe one of them has a surprise element ready, a hidden card, a plan B, maybe even a plan C. And they might decide to use grappling as the ultimate test to prove who's really the better fighter. When you look at Alex Pereira's career, he's basically fought strikers for most of his MMA run. Even Magomed Ankalaev, who has a wrestling background, used his wrestling more as a way to create uncertainty and hesitation in his opponents than as an actual offensive weapon. It's more psychological than anything else. Since Alex transitioned into MMA later in life, he's obviously spent time developing other aspects of grappling like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and judo, but he mostly uses them defensively to avoid being vulnerable against opponents who want to exploit those areas. Even so, we saw him hit a beautiful judo throw against Ankalaev, a guy from Dagestan with wrestling as his base. As for Gunn, it doesn't seem like he's particularly interested in becoming a dedicated grappler and turning that into a major weapon. So far, we've mostly seen him training with strikers during his camp, two glory champions and one former champion who actually beat Alex Pereira. Maybe that's just mind games. Maybe they want everybody to believe he's coming to throw hands so that when the fight arrives, he starts shooting takedowns. We don't know. But what we know is that Gunn has two submissions victory in UFC. One came in his UFC debut against Rafael Pessoa in 2019. The other came in his second UFC fight against Dante Mayes. On top of that, against Alexander Volkov, who has recently become much more dedicated to grappling, earned his BJJ black belt, and even competed in Jiu-Jitsu, we saw Gunn get taken down. But we also saw him take down someone who, in theory, shouldn't have gave him many problems in the grappling department. He also managed to take down Francis Ngannou in the fifth round of them fight. And if he hadn't gone for that ill-advised leg lock, he might have won the fight. There's also the fact that Gunn has the longer reach. He fights very well at long range. He's a natural heavyweight, a wider frame, denser build, bigger bones. And those things matter when you're talking about grappling exchanges, clinch battles, isometric strength, and physical confrontations. As for Alex Poitin's weapons, they need no introduction. Elite fight IQ, devastating calf kicks, constant body jabs, relentless forward pressure, excellent angle cutting to trap opponents, and of course, that terrifying left hook. I'm convinced that the Brazilian's punching power will translate perfectly to heavyweight, especially after seeing those two watermelons he calls glutes during the UFC White House photo shoot. There's no doubt in my mind that Poitin will carry his power into this new division. And I also believe he'll have the tougher chin compared to the Frenchman. With all that being said, I think the Brazilian is a slightly favorite as long as the fight remains completely standing. My prediction is Alex Pereira by knockout in the third or fourth round. The reality is that Ciryl Gane's path to victory depends largely on how willing he is to actually fight an MMA fight and how prepared he is to do it. 2 or 3 years in Dagestan would completely help. Mixing takedowns feints with strikes upstairs could be very effective because Alex Pereira stands to keep his hands fairly low. Successful takedowns, ground and pound, control time, maybe even a submission attempt. Those are the tools that could earn Gane a decision by victory. But that's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments below. Do you agree with me or do you think I'm completely wrong? Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us to grow more than you think. Thank you so much for watching. And let me return the favor by helping you build a physique that people actually respect by showing you step by step how I went from a skinny kid to looking like a superhero. Get in touch with me through the email on the screen right now. You also find it. You can also find it in the description and the pinned comment below. Thank you so much for watching again. See you on the next one.